Hello BookTube. Today I'm going to be doing the book snack tag. This tag was created by the Midnight Reader, and I saw this tag originally on Miss Reads a Lot, and I'm reading the tag off of Criminali's version. So we'll leave links to all three videos in the show notes down below. Let's get going. Prompt number 1, sweet. The chocolate chip cookie of books. Pick a book that is warm-hearted, uplifting, and makes you less cynical about the world. So for this prompt, I'm going to go with Sunny Days by David Camp. This is a history of children's programming in the 60s and 70s, and it is a wonderful, heartwarming book. I absolutely love it. Prompt number 2, salty. Inherently craveable, pick a book or series that you couldn't stop reading or reaching for. For this, I'm going to go for Eden Zero by Hiro Mishima. Eden Zero is fast becoming one of my favorite manga series. It's about a young man named Shiki who was raised on a planet of androids. Before the androids break down, a young woman named Rebecca and her Exceed companion Happy come to the planet to make a video. The robots seem to malfunction and try to kill Rebecca and Happy. Shiki rescues them and joins the two on their adventures. The three set the goal to find a mother, a great cosmic goddess figure, and as they go on their adventures, they assemble a crew on the Eden Zero. I love this book or the series, and when I've had the time to read a huge amount of the series in one go, I have absolutely loved it, and I'm looking forward to rereading all of the series sometime in the new year. I think I will do that. Prompt number 3, cheesy. Like Cheeto dust, you can't escape the cheese. Pick a book that you love because of or in spite of its cheesiness. For this, I'm going to go with Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is the first volume in an epic fantasy duology. I think it might be a trilogy at some point, but I haven't looked in a while to see if a third volume is forthcoming. So far, it's a duology. And Kings of the Wild is a kitchen sink fantasy. It's basically got everything. And the conceit of the series is that the mercenaries who operate in this world, they're hired to fight monsters, clear dungeons, that sort of thing, are the equivalent of rock bands in our own world. And so a lot of the humor, a lot of the cheese is related to that comparison, that conceit. And it is a hilarious romp. Oh, and it's basically about an old mercenary band getting back together when the daughter of the leader is trapped in a city being besieged by a horde of monsters. And the band's got to get back together. Prompt number 4, deep fried. You bit too hard or you bit too soon into the hot batter and got burned. Pick a book that hurt to read. For this, I'm going to go with a successful bail redemption, and that is Iran, A Modern History by Abbas Amanat. This is a history of Iran from the Safavid dynasty to the present. And when I first read the book in 2020, I had a hard time with the introduction. The introduction it's a tough slog, which seems to be a trait of a lot of Yale books that I've read. But anyway, but yeah, so I kind of had a hard time of the introduction and the first few chapters, or the what I read of it at first didn't really work with me. So I set it aside, bailed on it, and came back to it about a year or so later. And I really loved it. It was just wonderful history, especially the Safavids. I love that period. Prompt number 5, we're going from the heat to the cold. Ice cold. Sometimes the snack you want can only come from the deep freezer. Pick a book that transports you to a cold place. For this, I'm going to go with another nonfiction book, and that is Wild Sea, A History of the Southern Ocean by Joy McCann. This is a history of the Great Southern Ocean, the ocean that surrounds Antarctica, and it is a wonderful, wonderful book. Especially, there are some pictures actually of Antarctica at the very end. I mean, surely, at some point or other. Or am I wrong? I could be wrong. Oh well. Anyway, but this is a fantastic book. 2. Prompt number 6. Sour. Some things are too sour to keep a straight face. Pick a book that made you make faces while you were reading. For this, I'm going to go with Taliban Hanako-kun by Ida Iro. Again, Taliban Hanako-kun is one of my favorite manga series. It's about a young woman who attends an incredibly haunted school in Japan. And so one day she is told that if she goes to a specific toilet stall, performs a set ritual, she can summon the spirit known as the Taliban Hanako-san and be granted a wish. So Nene, our protagonist, goes to the stall, she performs the ritual, and she summons Hanako-san. However, unlike the traditional version of Hanako-san, this particular ghost is that of a young boy, Amane, who grants Nene her wish, and it doesn't go very well. So, Amane has to get her out of her trouble, and in exchange, Nene becomes Amane's assistant. Initially, she just cleans the bathroom where his stall is, but later she helps him in his duties, regulating the relationships between the living and the supernaturals at the school. There are 7 mysteries, of which Amane, as the 7th, has a authority over the other 6. Joining them is a young man named Ko, who is a trainee exorcist who initially tries to exorcise Amane, but later becomes friends with Amane and Nene, and their adventures go from there. I love this series. I smile, I laugh, I am broken up because there are a number of arcs that are just heartrending. Particularly, I've talked about Volume 4, and then the bit of Hell of Mirrors, Picture Perfect is anyway. So I love this series, and it's a perfect answer for sour prompt. Prompt number 8, the healthy snack. You picked this up because it was good for you. Pick a book that you read to improve yourself in some way. So I don't really read books to improve myself. So I decided to pick a book that I picked up largely for research purposes, and subsequently decided that I quite like the series that the book's a part of. So I've kind of collected some of the books in the series, although I've also sort of started to waffle on that. And that is Scorpion by Louise Pryke. This is a part of the animal series from Reaction Books that looks at specific animals and presents some of their biology, some of the natural history, some of the cultural history, some of the economics and relations with humans. And I really enjoyed this book. It was quite useful for what I was looking for. Although perhaps maybe I would like a more like cultural history of scorpions. But anyway, so finally the last prompt that I need to jiggle with the computer for, and that is juicy. Like an orange or a watermelon, Some snacks have plenty of pieces to share. Pick a book that is profoundly shareable, a book you want others to read. So for this, I'm going to go with um, Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This is a fantastic novel set in 21st century Britain about 11 women and one non-binary individual and how they interact in groups of three. There are like four groups of three, and they're all interconnected through this play about the Dahomey Amazons that the first narrator or first point of view character has written and is directing. And it's just, I really love this book, which surprised me because I don't always get on with literary fiction, but I got on with this, and I really would highly recommend it if for most people. So anyway, BookTube, that was the book snack tag. Hopefully the book tower will not fall over. That would be a bit of a problem. But anyway, so if you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. It was quite a lot of fun to pick the books and to do the tag. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. I will be back tomorrow with a book haul and some thoughts on the shortlist for the 2022 Kondo Prize. And I think while I'm going to be uploading this tag, I think I might be rearranging some of my books because I want to move my classics, canonical, modern, contemporary fiction, poetry, and drama over to the bookcase that my brother made, which I think you can kind of see a little bit of the sliver over here, and move my manga to the bookcase in the hall, which is not a sign of manga's diminution in my, like, it's not a demotion, because I mean it's actually the bookcase in the hall is a lot better than the one my brother made, although don't tell my brother that. But anyway, yeah, I might talk about that on weekly reads or in a separate video at some other point. So in a booktube, until I see you next time, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.